Welcome to Game Crunch on your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we got Brandon,
Hello.
and we're here to talk about games and things.
Yep, one more week before Game of the Year
Yeah,
discussions.
yeah.
Had to put
It's
it off a
locked
week
in.
because of the really bad storms, as well as just, yeah, we couldn't. We couldn't this week.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very little to talk about game-wise, but I feel like our other topic, I've got a lot to say about that.
Which one?
The news one when we get to it.
Oh, the news one? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting talk. Yeah. Ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's see. Well, I
So,
played Jackbox Party Pack 10.
yeah, how'd that
Now,
go?
it was okay.
Yeah,
I agree with kind of what you had thought you had heard about it last week. It's
yeah.
not a super. Well, I guess it's a whelming game.
hmm
Not overwhelming. It's not
It is a
underwhelming.
game of all
Just
time,
whelming.
right? Is that what it is?
Just whelming. That's all.
hmm
Yeah. So it's I don't know. Unlike a lot of the other Jackbox Party Packs, like it doesn't really have like a big cornerstone game to like pull it through.
hmm
So I mean, you have what is it? The T-shirt, like TKO, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, the sequel to that, which is fun. We came up with some clever shirts that were inappropriate.
Okay.
I think the one that ended up winning the game. I took a screenshot of it. Let me see. I remember it's very funny. I'll describe it to you.
Okay.
Where are you, T-shirt? Oh, it is a cock, and it says "I like it in my butt." So,
Nice.
yep, and it's
I mean,
it's
that
a
sure
tank
is
top.
the thing.
Yeah,
You gonna you gonna make that to an actual T-shirt now?
I considered it. It was only $20. So the thought had crossed my mind. I did not though. So I think that time
Mm,
I think you have to do it at that time. I don't know if there's a way to have it so like prologues. But yeah, so that was that. So there's 5 games obviously in the Jackbox Party Pack. So you got the TKO,
yeah.
whatever it is, the t-shirt knockout game. I mean that's fun. Unless it doesn't really like carry it, but I think it's a solid game and
hmm
definitely on par with like the last one. So that's fine. If you like the drawing games, then you'll enjoy it. A trivia game, which was kind of hard. It
hmm
was like kind of reminds me of like Where in Time is like Carmen Sandiego
Okay.
because it's very like era like time based.
hmm
It'll be like I'm trying to think. One of the questions we got was like, "What years was penicillin invented?" And then it's like, give you a hint. It was between 1920 and 1960, and then you have to type in like what you think, and then you get points based on like how close to the actual time you were. So there's that. That's kind of like
What's the
one
answer?
aspect of the room. Oh, I don't remember.
Ah,
1936.
I was gonna say
Something like that.
1940. Oh, okay. Well, would
Yeah,
have been
you're pretty
close.
close. It's somewhere in the early end. Um, yeah, so it's got questions like that. And then it will do like some like multiple choice questions as well, like based on the
hmm
era. It'll be like, oh, you time traveled to this era or whatever. And then it'll be like, how many seasons was this was the question. How many seasons was oh, what's his name? Seth Meyer on Saturday Night Live. And it was like the choices were like, I don't know, like 3, 5, like 13, and like 20. And I was like, oh, there's no way you've done that many seasons. I was like 5. And they're like, no, it was 13. I'm like, oh my God. Um,
The fuck?
I know. Did not know a lot of things. So yeah, so it was pretty interesting.
hmm
We had fun with it. It was definitely not the best trivia game of the Jackbox games. Trivia Murder Party still is the best. We ended up just I guess spoiler alert. After we got through the game of the Jackbox Party Pack 10, we just went back to uh, Murder Trivia, and that was fun.
Yeah.
So there was that. What other games were on this one? So I played 4 of the 5 of them. So there was a trivia game. There was the music game. Kind of sucks,
hmm
unfortunately.
Mm,
Um,
gosh.
so it in theory it plays like Rock Band. Like you have kind of like the trails going down. You have the dots line up, and then you have that. You have your phone volume up, and then you can hear like what you're playing like in real time. that's kind of cool. The big
Hmm.
problem though is like when you're playing it, it's there's some issues. It's not necessarily synced with everyone else. So everyone's kind of initially playing their own independent kind of music thing. It's not like you're making music together initially. You're doing it individually. Like one of the people I was playing with, they finished probably a good like 30 seconds after the rest of us. Like I guess just to kind of put it in context. Like that was
Mm.
not like necessarily synced up. Once you're all done playing, it like sends it to the TV and then you can hear it all together. But there's that. But because you're all playing like individually and not necessarily synced, you're not necessarily playing with the music on the TV in time.
Mm.
Maybe it was just this singular experience, but yeah, that was just really didn't make it like a good kind of introduction. So
Okay.
I tried it solo and I tried it multiplayer, and just really didn't give me the same kind of rock band vibe. As close as it is to rock band, you would have expected to give you like a real rock band vibe, and it just did not meet that mark. So
Mm.
um, interesting but disappointing. I think is probably where I'd put it. It's one of those ones that like maybe with some fine tuning, like some tweaks, they probably actually could make it like a lot more enjoyable. But it's
Okay.
not there where it is right now. Uh, what was the last one that was there? There was that. Oh, and the last one's kind of like a weird texting game that I played. So that one they send like you get like a text message from someone, and it's like, I don't know, like, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend or something? Like asking you
Okay.
on a date. And then so you initially type in a reply, but you're like, no, I don't like it. So then you're like, change it. So you never text me again. So then you all three are like texting, like you're changing the text individually, and like inserting or whatever. And it came up with some weird things. Like there was some weird text, bits in there, kind of where we inserted it. But because you're all on your own with where you're working on the text, um, I just really didn't. I mean, we had fun with it, but it just really didn't make a strong impression. So it was kind of like, oh, haha, and then that was it. Like it was not like, oh, let's play again. I can't believe this happened, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, so that was that one. The fifth one that I didn't play, I just didn't have enough players for at that particular time. It was like a hidden identity game, and it required 4 players. And even though we had
Mhm.
players coming in and out of the game all night, I just never was at a point where I had 4 players and could start this game. So that one will TBD update when it happens. So who knows? Maybe it's like the killer app of the Jackbox Party Pack 10, which would be cool. But at least so far, I would say yeah, probably not the strongest entry in the Jackbox Party Packs. I had something else. Oh yeah, no, I did it. We did have some other like just kind of funny moments with Jackbox games in general. Like as always, like they're always fun games, and we kind of jumped through like a bunch of the different ones, kind of like greatest hits. Um, but yeah, no, just really new one, not the strongest attempt that they've had. So
Mm.
yeah. Do you have any questions on the
Nope.
Jack?
It just sounds like it was pretty meh.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I said the funniest thing was the T-shirt thing, and that was kind of short-lived. That would be the one to play through again. I think if there's anything.
Mhm.
None of the other games that I played were strong enough that I really would be like, yeah. I mean, I guess on the flip side, there was no real like bombs. Like nothing was so absolutely horrible that would be like, no, I don't understand this game, and it just doesn't work. Um, so I mean that's good, but it's not like it's necessarily just still kind of disappointing. That's all.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's that. Although I do have to say, kind of with the murder trivia party, just kind of
Hmm.
since I did play some of that a bit more too. I'm still always amazed, like all the shit that's hidden in that game that just kind of keeps on like happening occasionally.
Hmm.
Um, because even as many games as I played, and I've probably played hundreds of games of that, there's still new things that surprise me.
Hmm.
Like this time I ended up with a bomb strapped to me, like as a
Oh.
character.
Okay.
Never had that happen before. And it gave you like 20 seconds and it's like, once you're out of time, you're dead. And and then I survived even with the bomb on me with like, I don't remember, like 7 seconds left or something.
Hmm.
Um and then like afterwards, like it gave like a whole nother cutscene like after like the credits start up. And then it's like, hey, you still have this bomb on. You should probably defuse it. And then it gave a question. Be like, it's like, oh, I don't know how to defuse bombs, but I looked online and it said the wire to cut's the same color as Park Place in the traditional Monopoly board.
Hmm. What?
And then it just gives you like a multiple choice thing with the colors, and you're like, which color is it? Well, yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah. Very random. Very random.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. We also had one too. There's one of the mini games inside of like the murder trivia party. So for those of you who don't know, it's not like just a trivia game. Like if you lose, you have to go off with the other people who get the question wrong and like do kind of like a challenge. And if you lose a challenge and you're out, like not out, you're like a ghost. You're murdered.
Okay,
You can still come back and win, but it's just kind of like the concept of it.
I see.
But the challenges are different, and they have all sorts of like wacky ones. One of them I don't remember what it's called, but mind meld. That's what it is. So mind meld, it'll give you like a topic, and it'll be like, okay, well I'll give you the one that just kind of made us laugh because it never had to happen before. It will be like name one of the seven deadly sins. But if you name the same one as someone else, then you die. You're murdered. So we're all like, we need to think of something that nobody else will think of. There's only seven. What would be the hardest one to think of? I'm curious. What would be your hardest one to think of if you had to do that kind of same thing? What would
Hmm.
you pick?
Um, Gluttony.
Exactly. We all fucking pick gluttony. Every single one of us. Exactly, Brandon. We all pick gluttony because we're all like, oh, I always forget gluttony. Nobody's gonna want to put that one
Yeah,
down. It's the longest one to spell too. Nope.
I literally picked it because it's the longest one to spell. Yep, that's exactly why I
I
picked
was
it.
like, it's the highest effort one out of all seven. Nobody else is gonna do it. We all fucking put gluttony. All of us. I was like, this is wild. So
I would have been right there with you.
yeah. So yeah, that was also just kind of like a fun thing. Cause you'd be even surprised where it'd be like we had another one where it was like NASA, like pick a word from NASA, and
Mhm,
if you there's only four words in NASA, so you
mhm.
think that you'd have a better chance. Nope, we made it out of that one unscathed. But seven deadly sins, gluttony all the way.
Skins.
The seven deadly skins.
I
Yep.
think you just got the title for this.
Yeah, I'm typing it down right now so I don't forget it. Yeah, so that's it. That's the seven deadly skins. Um, do I have anything else exciting to talk about this week? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. What you been playing?
I played a few games. Here are the list of them. I played Robocop,
Okay,
which that game continues to be just excellent. So,
okay.
Robocop, as I've mentioned before, is a first-person shooter that takes place after Robocop 2 and in between Robocop 3. And basically retcons the entirety of the movie Robocop 3 because that movie's not very good anyway. Um, yeah, so Robocop Rogue City is really fun. It's at the beginning you kind of get like injured and it starts making you like glitch, but your glitches are like you seeing like the human side of RoboCop and everything. And
Uh-huh.
because of that element of it, it gives RoboCop like humanity and it gives like him in general, you see him more as a human than some of the human characters in this because a lot of them are just like heartless pieces of shit. And then like you see like what RoboCop's going through with and everything from his point of view and see the glitches happen. Like you're walking through like a meat plant and then like you come back through it the next time and it's like hanging bodies that are draining out the blood and everything because it like glitched out and everything and like you're basically yeah, like beating yourself up because you couldn't stop this one guy from taking all the bodies and like killing these people and all this other stuff. And it's got some really interesting like elements like that to it. And the gameplay itself is like super fun. You feel just unstoppable, more or less,
Mhm.
while you're playing this. Like I don't find it particularly to be a hard game, but I feel like that's by design because you are RoboCop. You are like the fucking RoboCop. You're the guy. You're the guy that goes through and just annihilates everything. And I like the elements of it where you can like level up your character, and like one of the things you can get as a level up is like more gore when you kill an enemy, and like you can just shred people. And the amount of things you can do, like destruction wise in this game is like through the roof. It's very fun. It feels like an actual like power fantasy with a really good story on top and very interesting characters. And like the world feels like lived in, and it's super neat the way it's done. I would say this is one of the better, like not often talked about like tie-in slash um franchises from a movie turned into a video game.
Yeah.
This game is excellent. Like it's very, very good. And
Okay.
I just keep playing through it a little bit at a time, and I've been enjoying each step of the way.
I mean, it sounds like it's a fun game.
It's great.
Mhm.
And yeah, I
Um,
recommend playing it if you can. This goes for anyone basically. It's a game that didn't get a lot of love because the year had so many really good games. So this one
uh-huh.
kind of got left in the dust, but it definitely deserves people's attention because it's very well made and a lot of fun to play.
Did it only come out on PC?
No, it's on everything.
Oh, is that on everything?
Yep,
Did not know.
yep.
I mean, that's
It's
exciting.
I mean, obviously it's not on the Switch, but it's on everything that it could be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
No.
PS5, Series X, S, and PC.
Okay. No, that's good.
It uses Unreal Engine 5, and it uses like Lumen, which is their new form of ray tracing, and it's very, very nice. Like the world's like very real. I want to show you this actually. I'm just gonna. Have I shown you anything? I have shown you a few things,
I
but
think you have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's a great game. Like just in general, very fun. I don't really have that much more to say about it though, because I don't know. It's just a good game. That's all there is to it. All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's
Yeah.
go to the next game that I played, which was Raft, which we talked about a little bit. You're like, what? What is Raft? So
Yeah.
Raft
What's the
is
raft?
yeah, Raft. Raft is a like survival game
Mm-hmm.
where you have been shipwrecked and you are on a floating like debris, you and how many ever people you play with,
Mm-hmm.
and you can create like hooks and stuff from like the garbage that's around you in the sea, and then you use that to continue to build out your raft as you try to find like your way back to land, more or less. You can
Okay.
go from island to island, like gathering resources and stuff, and making whatever you can. And it's just a super interesting game because of the way it's like designed. You start from like nothing, and eventually you can like build up your raft to be like an actual home, where
Mm-hmm.
instead of just a raft, it's actually like a society or like a home that you have floating on the sea as you go and explore the rest of the sea. But the main thing is to like figure out, hey, how do I get back home, more or less. And it's really fun. There's like many different aspects to it where uh you can you can like fish with fishing rod that you can create and everything, but then you have to like put the fish on like a thing, but you have to also get wood so that you can keep the fire burning, but you also need to like take water and purify it by using other heat sources and stuff, and then turn around and keep yourself healthy while not dying. And it starts out kind of difficult,
Okay.
but like it quickly becomes more of a game about exploration than it is about living. But it does start out a bit difficult because you literally have nothing. You're just trying to scavenge from like the shipwreck that you're on and build up the raft to be as good as possible. It's pretty good. Pretty fun.
Yeah, it sounds kind of reminds me of I mean just kind of vaguely. I'm sure it doesn't play like it, but just kind of the description you give. Yeah, the first thing I think of was like Lost in Blue. Did you ever play that before?
I do know of the game you're talking about, the one that was on Wii,
Oh, I
or
think
am
they
I
did make
thinking?
one for the Wii.
Or, wait,
I
is
was
it
thinking of
on
the
something
DS
else?
one. Hmm?
Oh, Lost in Blue. Let me check and see if I'm
It's part
stupid.
of a
Oh,
series.
this is a different game. Never mind, never mind, never mind. I was thinking of something else. No,
Oh,
I've
okay.
never played this or heard of it.
Huh. Yeah, it's a DS game. It was part of a series in like Japan, but kind
Okay.
of like a similar idea. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a DS game,
Yeah.
so different idea, but same
You can
idea.
see what this one's like a bit. I just linked you to it. Essentially, there's a shark that is always attacking you though, so you have to stop it from eating your raft. So you have to like be on the lookout for it to attempting to do so. It's it's a constant threat, but you could kill it, but then like more come back. So yeah.
Okay.
You gotta always cook food, keep yourself healthy, and all that other stuff. And
So that is a lot like Lost in Blue in that regard. I mean, this though, obviously you have a fancy ass boat, so that's a little
mhm.
different.
Well, no,
Lost
you
in
don't have a boat. You start out with literal like pieces of wood that you're floating on, similar
This
to
is a
like the
fake ass
Titanic.
trailer then. This is
No, it's
bullshit.
not. This is after people have built up their boat because you
You
can
see,
quickly.
if I was gonna buy this game based on this trailer, I think I would start with a
Okay, if
fucking
you look at
crazy ass
if you
boat.
look at like 10 seconds in, right? Where or 11 seconds where they're like floating right there and the seagulls over the top, that's what you start with.
Dumb. No, it's fine. Um, no, but yeah, no. I mean, it looks like it's fun. It's a nice little survival looking game. Yeah, Lost in Blue is kind of the same idea though, except obviously a lot more rudimentary because it was
hmm
DS.
Yeah.
You start on an island with like nothing, and then you go around and scavenge things. And then you can use them to make like resources you can eat or
hmm
build stuff or whatever. And you kind of work your way up there. And then as you explore the island, you like find things and people to talk to, and you kind of work your way up from there. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, it's a fun concept for a game. I think it's as long as it's this game looks like it's got a lot of customizable stuff to make it
It
continue to
does.
be interesting.
Absolutely. There's a lot of elements of customization in this. You can get like little blueprints that you find buried out on places and in boxes and stuff, and those
Mm-hmm.
blueprints then allow you to make things like a clock or a bed or a hanging sign that you can then put like your own poster thing on it and that sort of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very neat the way that it's handled.
Okay. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. And then I know Nick is gonna 100% talk about this for Game of the Year, so I'm doing some cleanup on Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing I've been playing quite a bit of. Whenever I'm like getting ready for bed, I just like turn on the Xbox and play Hi-Fi Rush for like an hour or two, and do some of that stuff. Hi-Fi
Okay.
Rush is a very good game that I know we will definitely be talking about during Game of the Year. So
Well,
that's kind of the reason why I'm going through some like stuff and cleaning up and this, that, and the other, and uh, just trying to do as much as I can for that one.
yeah. Well, we'll definitely be talking about it again in like 5 minutes.
Wait, oh, I guess we will, won't we? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I have gotten nothing else to talk about. Just that's it.
Okay. Ready to move on to I don't know other things.
Yeah. Let's talk about some stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess as we just alluded to, yeah. So there's rumors floating
Yep.
around that Microsoft's thinking about opening their doors up a little bit further,
hmm
which is not surprising at
Yeah.
all. As this is something like people act like this is like new and surprising. Like this is not new and
They
surprising.
also act like it's the end of Microsoft as a company, and it's like, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah, no, none of those things are true, and it's really like or at least I mean, I have for sure said this multiple times over the last few years, especially since the creation of Game Pass. But Microsoft's end goal always, and this is back to I don't know for a long time. Like since the initial creation of the original Xbox, they never wanted to be a console. Like that's always been kind of like a means to an end to them. Um, and this is just kind of what this news was leading to is kind of just kind of the natural iteration of that, which basically is they want Xbox to be. At least this is how I read the news, interpreted it, but they want Xbox to be like a platform that's not necessarily tied to a console specifically. They want it to be more of a service platform. And really what that kind of entails news wise was, more Xbox games will be coming to more platforms as kind of like a means of opening that door. So rumors were Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush would be ported to other systems and possibly other Xbox games, as they open those doors. So really, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because consoles are money suckers.
Mhm.
So, Microsoft not having to rely on a really expensive console is beneficial to them. If they have it, it's kind of like more of like a freestanding platform. Does it mean that they're going to get out of hardware? No, not necessarily. Like obviously, they still have a need to, have a hardware for, other devices that don't necessarily have the ability to, have an app for it or whatever. So there'll be a place for that, but yeah, this just kind of seems like it's a natural direction they've been heading in for a long time. And it'll be interesting to see kind of what direction they end up going with it and how hard they end up going with it. Because they could, what they're doing right now, putting Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves on other platforms, isn't really anything wildly different than what they've been doing the last 10 years, anyways.
Yep.
We've already seen some of their games get ported over. I mean, obviously, like there's real obvious things like Minecraft.
Yep.
Which is not ever been like system exclusive, really. It's been on like everything and continues to be on everything on every iteration that they put out. So
Right.
they're not gonna restrict themselves there. And then we've seen other, exclusive games that they've, made come and appear on other systems. Just makes sense, Game Pass is a great incentive for them, for people. But they also obviously there's opportunities for them to sell the games separately as well. You think about it like let's say just in terms of Switch because it's easy just to kind of say. They put out Hi-Fi Rush on Switch. Well, Game Pass isn't available there.
Yep.
So they don't have that, but they can get, whatever money they would make off of Hi-Fi Rush, obviously, for porting it over. So
Yeah.
you have that. And then it also kind of works as like hey, this game is available on Xbox. And if you had an Xbox or something that supported, Game Pass, you could tab Game Pass and play this game for free. Kind of like
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I've had this theory for a while now, and I think it's going to happen. I think more Xbox games are going to be ported to other consoles, right? So I wouldn't even put it past like seeing Halo on something else,
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. I think this is going to be a way to get players into these games that they otherwise would have never played before because it's on a console that they maybe don't own or don't care to own, right? And as such, once that has happened and once that has done well for them, we then make the next step, which is to put Game Pass on those systems as well.
And that's always the tricky thing. Because I think we've all kind of like hypothesized that or hypothesized that would happen. But
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those like, the gatekeepers don't want to allow it in. Like, Microsoft or not Microsoft, Nintendo and Sony, might have some qualms with letting them put Game Pass on their system. Because Microsoft's not going to sit there, they're already, taking a piece of that Game Pass money. And when they want to share 30% of it or whatever with Nintendo and Sony, probably not as likely.
That is not how that would work, and I can explain why. For instance, right now, you have to buy things in Fortnite through the Fortnite service. You can buy them outside of the Fortnite service, but you have to buy them through the Fortnite service. When you buy something through the Fortnite service, such as like a pack of like so much money, that sort of thing. So like say you spend like $7.99 to get like 1,000 V-Bucks or something. That money goes to Epic. That money does not go to Sony, and it does not go to Nintendo. If you buy it inside the service, right? So I mean, Game Pass is a free program that you just install.
No,
You then subscribe to it through that service, which would mean they're not sharing that revenue with Sony or Nintendo. They would share the initial thing to get it onto the service, yes, but that 30% each time someone signs up for Game Pass, that's not a thing that Microsoft will be sharing. My look on this whole thing is I feel like Microsoft is trying to plant a seed, but it's a seed to grow into a fungus more so, and like just kind of branch out and take over everything in a very kind of seedy and underhanded way, more so than it is a seed to like, oh, let's just plant this here and let's see how it grows and how the community thrives. No, 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 no. They want total control. We saw that from the fucking this, that, and the other. They would have total control over their IPs, and if they caught on those other consoles, they would have total controls over their IPs being on those other consoles. That would already be something that would be infecting Sony and Nintendo if that were to happen, essentially. That wouldn't be good, but if they already had the service on there and they got it on there to begin with, yeah, and then they started doing all this shit, that's how they would get ahead.
well, I mean,
More
I
or less.
understand what you're
And
saying
it's
there.
kind of like a Trojan horse, more or
No,
less.
but that's the problem though, because you basically spelled out the exact reasons why Nintendo and Sony will not let that happen. They have no
Correct.
incentive to. Yeah, like if they go that route, like you've said,
Hmm.
where Microsoft's like, hey, let me put this free app on your system
Hmm.
that requires a subscription service, but I'm not going to let them buy it through said app.
Yeah. But
They're going to be
but
like, no, absolutely not.
you know what? You're right. You're right. But they would have to get the popularity first, because you know who did do that exact thing? We already talked about it. It was Epic Games. Epic Games did that. They did it with Fortnite. If Microsoft has that one breakout thing that makes it so that they're a household name and they get that onto other consoles, then they have that in. That's what I'm saying, more or less. They
Yeah,
need to be able to do it
but there's a difference
so that
still,
they can do
though.
it.
Like you could still play Fortnite. Like if I pull out my Switch right now, like I could
Hmm.
play Fortnite without giving Epic any like I don't have to use their service to buy anything, right?
No, you don't have to use their service to buy anything to play
Exactly.
Fortnite. No, you
That's
don't.
the big difference. Yeah. hmm
Well,
Uh,
you're assuming that Microsoft wouldn't do something like a free-to-play game, which in some ways they already do have one, but it's not working. But they've already tried it before with Halo Infinite when they
no,
launched
but
it.
I'm saying the problem is though,
Mm-hmm.
like it's still at the end of the day, they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to allow something like that on the platform
But they've already
like
done
that.
it. They did it with Epic. They did it with Epic Games.
But no, that's a singular game that you can play without having to.
Rocket League.
You can't play Rocket League without paying for a subscription.
No, no, no. You don't have to pay for a subscription to either. Okay, you're not understanding. Okay,
No, but no,
let
no,
me
no,
try to
you're
break it
not
down. I don't think.
understanding.
No, 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 no. You're not
Because
understanding.
no, because Game Pass requires a subscription to play.
You're correct.
Yeah.
You're correct.
So what incentive would Nintendo or Sony?
You're not. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. These are two
No, I
totally
don't think you're
separate
getting
things.
it.
You're not understanding. There's two totally separate things that I'm trying to say. I'm not
Okay.
saying that that game is only on Game Pass. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm
What?
saying,
What are you talking about? What game?
you
What game is
aren't
on Game Pass?
listening. Okay, listen. All right, listen to me. Just listen to what
Okay.
I'm saying. All right.
Uh-huh.
I said if Microsoft were able to do something along the
hmm
lines of what Epic Games had done, where they get a game in the door that becomes so popular that it needs to be on all the consoles. If
hmm
they did that, that is their in to get Game Pass then onto those other systems. That's what I'm saying. Now, you wouldn't need Game Pass to play that game, but you would have those other um, perks, so to speak, if you had Game Pass when playing said game in general. It's kind of like whenever you subscribe to Amazon Prime, you subscribe to it for that, but some other people subscribe to it for those free Call of Duty skins or the free currency for FIFA or what the fuck ever else game is on there, or the free stuff for Apex Legends and the skins like that. What I'm saying is that if they were to make that game that is their Fortnite, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? If they were to make that game and then put it on every console, and then they could use that as a way to also have a jumping off point to getting Game Pass onto that console as well, That's what I was trying to say. Not because specifically of that game, but because they already have an in with that game being there to begin with.
I
Because
understand what you're saying. That's never going to happen. 100%.
okay, okay, let's meet back in 5 years and see if it has.
Do you want to put it on the bold prediction
Yeah.
list? Are you
Yeah,
feeling that?
I want to put it on the bold prediction list. Something is going to be a breakout hit either because Microsoft bought the company
Hmm.
or because of that game being made by Microsoft themselves, and they are going to be able to get Game Pass onto everything because of the fact that that game is so popular and the perks and other stuff that comes with having Game Pass go extends to that game in general,
I
whatever
mean, I
that game
think
may be.
I have a different theory. I think Game
Okay,
Pass will end up on other systems. I don't think it's going to be your Trojan horse method.
okay,
I I think you know what they're going to do.
huh?
So they're if my bet
Hmm.
is because Epic is stirring up a whole bunch of shit,
Yes,
obviously with their
Epic is.
lawsuits.
Yeah.
I think what's going to ultimately end up happening is Epic is going to end up somewhere in their legal assaults. They're going to get legal permission to like open that door for a secondary store or like side loading or something,
Hmm.
and that's how you'll get Game Pass. I
So
think
you think
they'll
Game Pass will come in through Epic's thing?
like specifically through like I think that Epic's lawsuits
Hmm.
are going to open the door for Microsoft to basically either side load or like there'll be a secondary store on the systems. And then I think that's how Microsoft's going to get in. I think that they're going to, because it already, that door that's holding everything out is so flimsy as it is. It's what was it? The ruling with like Android, it sounds like
Yeah.
that may allow Epic to kind of have their own kind of Epic store or whatever
Hmm.
side load kind of thing. I think
I
something like
mean,
that's
there's no
gonna.
Epic store on PlayStation or
No,
Xbox
no,
or
no. I
anything
know
like
that,
that.
but I'm saying like part of their lawsuit, with like Android and Apple was,
Yeah.
they don't have the ability to, basically users don't have the ability to install their own app, so they're forced to use the ecosystem that's there. I think that's basically it's going to end up coming to the consoles at some point, and they're going to be like same deal, like, hey, you know what, you saw that this was unjust with the phones. We think that we need to be able to let people open up their devices. Um, and I think that's going to be kind of where that ends up coming in. That door will get opened, and then you're just going to be like, "Oh, Game Pass, here you go." I think that's going to be the way. I,
Mm.
because like I said, Microsoft or Sony and Nintendo have like reasons to keep it off.
Oh,
Um,
let's brainstorm some more things, right?
mhm.
Um, the other theory that I had
Huh.
is that Microsoft does go third party, like they've been talking about. They do go third party, but in them going third party, this allows them to get Game Pass and other such things onto the other consoles because those other consoles don't see them as a threat and don't care anymore. And that is their mistake.
But that's the thing. But it's never been about that. Because I mean, Microsoft's been very friendly with the other platform. Well, I
Mhm.
mean, Nintendo. I mean,
Yeah, with
they
Nintendo.
try to be friendly with Sony. They just don't get reciprocated. But
No.
they're friendly with Nintendo, and obviously Nintendo
I mean,
works well with
Sony didn't
them.
want to be friendly with Nintendo either.
Yeah,
Let's be fair.
but I mean, we see that supposedly. I mean, we don't know like the complete inner workings of things, obviously behind the scenes. But there's been some speculation. And some of that speculation, like on Nintendo platform, basically is like Nintendo has been straight up refusing subscription services
Yeah,
for a lot of like subscription like exclusive things, and
yeah.
that's why we haven't seen something like Netflix on the system because Netflix, requires you to purchase in other apps. Nintendo doesn't want an app that's not generating any revenue from sucking away from their stuff, so they
Hmm.
just don't let it on. So listen, that I think that's the biggest hurdle. Like they have to, if Microsoft
There,
wants to play
I
nice
guess
with
there
them,
is
they
the
have to
other
make it
thing.
so there's profitability for them.
I guess there is the other thing, right?
Yeah.
If you look right now, the
Hmm.
person that owns most of the game servers, like in existence, right?
Hmm.
Uh, that run these fucking games, right?
Hmm.
Is Microsoft.
Hmm.
So wouldn't them not taking away those servers be the reason for them? I don't
Oh,
know.
you're,
It's just
you're saying them being like, "Hey, let us on there. We're gonna take away your servers."
yeah, you're fucked.
I thought Amazon did a lot of them.
Amazon does do many of them, but they don't actually host them as well as Microsoft does. Amazon's pretty
Oh,
shit when it comes to hosting servers. Like
oh,
that's the long and short of
I
it.
think Amazon hosts all of Nintendo's.
Do
There,
they?
there was a it leaked out within the last week or two, but like a
Mm-hmm.
presentation from Amazon about working with Nintendo on their like multiplayer services.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, with where Microsoft is
Yeah,
sitting with
Amazon Web
the
Services. You're right.
yeah,
Amazon Web Services host them.
where Microsoft is sitting right now in this precarious position with the who is it, the FCC or whoever
Mm-hmm.
it is. Yeah, if they threaten to be like, we'll pull your services if you don't let us put your game on your thing,
Yeah,
they would just end up right back in court
they would
so
be
fast.
fucked. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I know. I'm just doing some random hypotheticals. But let's talk about some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
If Microsoft were to go third party, like completely, what would you like to see on each console?
Well, I mean, really, the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
like realistically, I would think that it probably would just be really what would end up happening would just be Game Pass, like extended. Like
So you don't think we'd see like individual games, like
that I
of their
think
first
Game
party?
Pass is their platform, and maybe they'd retool it so they could do some
Mm-hmm.
store stuff in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, hey, you can either buy Game Pass, as a package for whatever a month, or maybe you can like do rentals or like short term kind of
Ugh,
like.
I don't see that being a thing, like at all. No, no,
Uh,
no, no, no. No, no.
I'm just
I
telling you.
mean, there we already have the Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves rumor of the game actually just coming over to Switch and
Yeah, but
PlayStation 5.
we're talking the hypothetical where there is no system. I think
The
if there
game
was
still
no system,
exists.
the game still exists, but I think that they would have less incentive to port things individually if they had the ability to put the whole
Money?
platform on. I'm just saying. I think they would. I think they would probably go. They would go more of a all-in kind of approach and be like, "All right, well, here's our whole platform."
Yeah,
So, do you know how it works on like the TVs that have Game Pass like ability? I
it's
don't
just an
know.
app.
It's just that, but I'm saying, does it just are your only options like subscribe or not? Like not like any like middle options?
Oh no, you can't like rent games or anything like that if that's what you're saying. No,
Okay,
absolutely not.
yeah. Or if it
Like,
was, or if they did like maybe even
and they
like
use like
shorter term,
xCloud.
like
So like no, they use like xCloud, which is a Game Pass premium thing,
okay.
basically.
But you can't do like a week of service or something.
Like of like a game or like of the
Just Game
thing
Pass,
itself.
just in general. Like I want to do.
Uh,
I'm on vacation. I want a week of
no,
Game
you can
Pass.
do like a month, but
Okay.
like not a week.
Yeah, but I mean, a month I guess is only like it's like what less than 20 anyways.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
Yeah, so it's not
17.99 or
horrible.
something. So it's like
Yeah.
you pay like $20 basically, and you get like 1,000 games or some shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that still makes sense. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I imagine we'll go. I mean,
Hmm.
realistically, assuming that I guess on the other side though, if Game Pass on other platforms doesn't come to fruition, I see them just continuing kind of with what they do. They'll basically let things kind of. Well, I mean, I guess that there's no big platform.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's the thing that I don't understand. I mean, I guess the way it would work would be,
Hmm.
whatever Xbox, like, I think Microsoft will always have like a box or like
Hmm.
a like device to connect to
I
your
think so too.
TV.
I think so too. I think the Xbox will always exist. It will just be like a box, not like a game console. Like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we'll
Uh-huh.
we'll move over to something like I don't know, like think of like
With
the Vita TV. It's like a
yeah.
$100 box where it's like you can play some games and then
Yeah.
you can also do streaming shit. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And then so you'll still have like your hot new releases there, as they come out there in
Hmm.
PC. And then, maybe like a year down the road, like they are with Hi-Fi Rush, we'll be like, all right, time to go visit other platforms now.
Yeah.
Because they'll still want to keep the initial draw to either pulling people into Game Pass or pulling people into purchasing on the original console. And then,
Hmm.
once you get those initial sales out of the way, then you start opening those floodgates again. So
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that.
Hmm.
Let's talk about some more other things that came up because of this.
Yeah.
How important in modern day, and I'm gonna make a very specific like point, like a little asterisk here. We are not talking about Nintendo, okay? We are
Okay.
not talking about Nintendo when I say this. How important in modern day to a console do you think exclusives are?
Mm,
And I will point out, right, a lot of the highest grossing, most sold games on any console are either free to play multiplayer titles or uh third party multiplayer titles.
I guess it depends on what aspect of it you're looking at. So I would say, for the most part, probably
Hmm.
not as important as they were a couple generations ago.
Hmm.
But I still think that they played an important part to some degree with someone's platform of choice initially.
I don't think they play as important of a role anymore, personally. And
Yeah,
also, I would be 100% down with there being no exclusives, period, on any console.
yeah,
And
I
I
think
know
that's
I made
most
that
people would.
asterisk, but I would even say with Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, it's not like an unreasonable thing. I think most people
So
would be happy with it,
here,
but
well, go
that
on,
causes
sorry.
other issues. But yeah.
I was gonna say here were my thoughts with it, right?
Hmm.
If you didn't have exclusives, right? Then people's choices would be based purely off of the console itself, its power and ability, um, who, if their friends are playing on said console, the UI, the way services are handled on the console, the controller, any kind of innovation thing like what Nintendo did with the Nintendo Switch, all of those things would then affect people's wanting to buy a console over just, oh, I can play this game on this console, and I can't play this game instead. And I know exclusives currently are, at least in some respects, still important, but I feel like there would be a better game space and more competition between the actual brands if exclusives didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think things would be pretty good to some degree, for the
They would
most part.
have to find other ways. So then you'd have more things like your Game Pass or your PlayStation Premium, or um, on Nintendo's front, you'd have a handheld and home console hybrid. There are different things there that make those things desirable outside of just my Spider-Mans or my Gears of War. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I think having that element would make for a much more interesting space than just what we have now, which almost feels stagnant to the point where like home consoles such as the PS5 and the Series X and not the S, but Series X, just feel like computers inside of different boxes now.
I mean, that's
Like
literally
consoles,
that is literally all they
it
are.
is literally what they are, but it's never felt more like that than right now. It's
Well,
always been that way. But if you think about it, right now is the like most it has ever felt that way.
but I also would say, even somewhat to your point, because we talk about it so much the
Hmm.
last, I don't know, few years. I mean, really, when we're talking about the series, the new Xboxes, the X
Yeah.
and S, and the PlayStation 5, I mean, we virtually are living in a world without exclusives. I mean, I know there are some, but like, I don't feel
You got
like
like
either system really has
3
anything.
or 5 on the PlayStation as opposed to where it used to be like so many fucking
Yeah,
exclusives.
it used to be
The
like
only thing
the
that even
driving
has
force.
exclusives anymore is Nintendo, and I feel like they literally have to have exclusives now because of the fact that they are so far behind, and they, when it comes to like technology as well as like just the games running well. It's like their games don't run well, like at all. They don't. They do not. They're not really playable, and in some cases, it's completely unacceptable. They have that innovation, right? And they have those exclusives. The Switch
Hmm.
does. And if they did not have those, they would have nothing. Like if they were just another box that sits on your TV, they would have nothing. Like if Nintendo was in the same place that Sony and Microsoft was right now, where they get like two, maybe three exclusives a year, it wouldn't be worth it to have a Switch.
I mean, really,
It would
depending on
force
how you
them
want
to do things better.
well, no, I'd say depending on how you split your views. I mean, really, you could say that about any of the systems, really, depending on where your play styles and preferences
I don't
come
think I
down
would say
to.
that about Microsoft because Microsoft
Does it what?
doesn't have anything that's really exclusive.
It's got Starfield, Brandon.
I mean, I
Jeez.
can play that on my PC.
Well, I guess that's true. With that, but I don't know. I kind of lump those things together. Um,
You lump
mentally,
Xbox and PC together?
a lot of times, yeah.
That's like awful. Don't do that. Don't insult Xbox like I mean, don't insult PC like that, please.
I can't remember what I was gonna say though, but
It's so weird. There's so many people that do lump Xbox and PC together, and it doesn't make any sense to me because it's like, you've got Steam, you've got Epic Game Store, you've got all this other stuff that is not Xbox on PC. Are people like lumping it together because of the fact that it is um the Windows because Microsoft Windows? Is that the reason why people think of PC as a Microsoft platform
I mean, at
only?
least not for me. I think of it that way because Microsoft tends to release all their stuff on PC as well.
I
So
mean, Sony does now too. So my question is like,
eventually,
no, not even. So example, again, I'm glad you brought this up actually. Horizon Forbidden West Ultimate Edition.
uh-huh,
It launched for PS5 October,
uh-huh.
literally a few months back. It was just announced for PC literally yesterday, and it's coming in the upcoming months. So that's not even 6 months out. Like Sony's getting further
Horizon
and
launched in
further.
October.
Horizon Ultimate Edition, which has all of its DLC and all of its other stuff, that sort of thing,
Oh,
that
then
launched in October.
yeah, but when did the core game come out?
March?
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck
Like
about it coming out on
something?
PC then.
Well, no
Yeah,
one gives a fuck about it coming out on PC because it's not a good game. But
fair. Um, no, but I
like
mean that's so far. It's basically like a year out. Just like I was just saying, like it's the people who wanted to play it already would have played it on PlayStation, and this is just the
absolutely not.
scraps.
I don't think that's in okay. As a person that plays PC,
Hmm.
people wait on PC. People do not give a fuck when it comes to PC and like waiting for that game to come out that was on Sony. No one gives a shit because they have so many other things that they could play that it does not affect them. I think right now the takeaway from here is that Sony is starting to be affected where they are releasing their games in shorter time frames. Even if we like were to take the 2022 release initially of Horizon, if we were to take that, right,
Hmm.
and then stack that up to the release, that would be a year and a few months, right?
Yeah, which
Last
is
time,
Sony's MO. Yeah.
well, no, because Horizon Zero Dawn didn't come to PC for like 4 years. It's getting shorter and shorter the amount of time that they're launching their games on PC. Ratchet and Clank lasted like less than a year. Returnal lasted like less than a year on console. When you look at it that way, right? More and more games are coming faster to PC from Sony than they used to the point where there's not even really a point anymore in having the console. Granted, I like the ease of having a PlayStation 5 that I can just turn on and play and all this other stuff. And I like playing more competitive games on PC, or like interesting and different experiences on PC. But I just feel like we're getting to the point where the only holdout is going to be Nintendo. Period.
Oh yeah, they're never gonna do it.
I feel like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be announced to be releasing before the end of this year on PC. I give it a 6 month window, and then we'll have an announcement, and then it'll release around Christmas on PC. And in case you don't know, Rebirth releases on February 23rd on PS5.
Yeah, I remember it's around your birthday.
Yeah,
I think that I do agree. I think they'll announce it for PC this year. I don't think it. I think it will come out next year
I
on
think it'll
PC.
release before the end of the year, for the like big winter,
Uh huh.
that sort of thing. That's what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part One.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like we get so few exclusives now that I just don't even care. I really don't. I didn't play Spider-Man 2, like, at all. I just didn't care to. And
But
that
maybe
was
you will.
something I was interested in for quite a while, and then I was like, whatever. I don't really care. Um, I mean, I'll just play it on PC when it gets here in like a few months. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to the whole Microsoft thing where it's like, well, why play it on a console when you can just play it on PC? And it's like, yeah, and it's the same for Sony. Why play it on the console when I could just play it on PC?
What about the people who don't have PCs though?
What about the people that don't have PCs that have Xboxes?
No, but I'm saying they might have. What do you think their incentive is for exclusive?
Uh, That is okay for exclusives, like for like having them on their console of choice.
Yeah, or other consoles.
I would say specifically because that's the one you picked and you want that game and you don't want to have to buy another console. That's my thought. That's the only reason a consumer would give a shit about exclusives. I bought a $500 console and I can't play this game. Well, that sucks. You know, that's the only reason I see a person giving a shit about exclusives.
Yeah, I mean, really, yeah.
It's not like it's not the crazies you see online that are like my console's better than yours and they're like fucking 42 or some shit. Those people don't exist in real life. You know what I mean? Those people are an online staple, not something that you're going to see
Yeah.
out in like the wild, that sort of thing. So it's not those people that's pushing the people to buy console exclusives. It's or buying consoles specifically. The reason, and I had this conversation with someone else, the reason why you buy a console is because that's where your friends are. That is your preferred like controller of choice and all that other shit. Not because my exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
At least not anymore. Yes, it absolutely used to be that way back in the past. 110%. I would buy an Xbox for Halo. I loved Halo.
Mm-hmm.
100%. But there's no point to that anymore. That's not really a thing anymore. I mean, once I know it's going to happen eventually. Once Gran Turismo 7 gets announced for PC, I'm all over that. I'll buy it. I'll buy that on PC, and that's where I'll play that because I feel like you can make a better racing setup on PC than you can on PlayStation. But that's just me. Um, yeah. I that is a different reason that I would have bought Gran Turismo on PC. I could have made a better racing setup, and I would have bought Gran Turismo day and date on PC if I had the choice to do so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes sense when you think about it. There's so many reasons why someone would choose something over something else aside from just exclusives.
Yeah. No, there is plenty of reasons why people would do it. Like we were saying, like I think honestly, I think kind of what your friends are playing generally is probably one of the stronger predictors of whether or not you'll enjoy a system or not.
Yeah,
Um,
I play Call of Duty on PlayStation 5. I
mhm.
play that because that's what my friends have. They have a
Yeah.
PS5.
Mhm.
They Some of them have an Xbox, but even if they do have an Xbox, who gives a fuck? Because crossplay exists. So
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. But like
Well, that's a good
my
point too. As crossplay continues to expand, the incentive for exclusives becomes even smaller.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Mhm.
And I think
Um,
crossplay is like expanded so much so already that we don't need it. Right?
you don't need crossplay.
No, we don't need exclusives. That's what I was
Oh.
saying. No, we don't need crossplay.
And there's too much of it. Too much crossplay. Get that shit out of
There are
here.
several people that actually feel that way, and those people I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, that just all comes down to fanboyism. I think most of the time.
Yeah.
It
Well, some
really is.
people firmly believe, still to this day, that the only place you can cheat is on PC. And it's like that's just not true.
No, definitely not true. Especially after Microsoft went through and like banned everyone using certain controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see what ends up happening with this Xbox thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that anything like would happen like immediately right away, anyways. If they
No,
do,
the current thought and theory that some people are pushing around is that Microsoft will be no longer a console brand by 2027 and instead will only exist as their games being sent to other platforms in some way, shape, or form. And I don't
no.
think that's true. I don't think that's true at all because like I mean, there's plenty of people that are like, Xbox, they're doing so poorly. And it's like, who gives a fuck? It's
Yeah,
Microsoft. Do you know how many Windows PCs exist in this world?
and they
They
did not
have
just
money. They don't need your money.
no,
Do
and
you
they did
know
not
how
just.
many servers they have? This, that, and the other. Do you know how much they just dropped on one random fucking company?
I was
The
gonna say,
biggest
and that's the
acquisition of
biggest
all
thing.
time? And it's
They're
like,
not gonna spend a
they
bajillion and a half dollars on Activision. Just be like, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, people are stupid. People are dumb. They don't understand things. They don't think logically. They only care about their feelings, not thoughts and fucking logic.
I think kind of more realistic kind of
Yeah.
expectation will be we already know Nintendo or Microsoft's working on their next console.
Hmm.
I think whatever their next console is will release as planned in the next couple of years. It will be kind of more a traditional console, but I think during whatever that new generation is
Hmm.
when they'll start to explore alternatives and whether or not they need to have like kind of that high end console
Hmm.
device or if they can, taper it back to more of a, kind of low key kind of experience. Um, it's like, maybe more of like a Apple TV kind of device. Um, I think and they might even toy around with that on its own next gen.
Hmm.
And just kind of be like, hey, here's the Xbox Ultimate Gaming Puck. And you just plug it into your TV and you can play your games with your controllers.
Uh, you know what I'd like? I'd like the ability to play a game system. And I know I can do this on PC already, but I'd like the ability to play, and I guess I know I can with 8-bit though, but I would like to play using any controller on any system.
I mean, a lot of them let you use them on other things now.
I can't use my PS5 on my Switch or on my Xbox. I can't. I'd have to use 8-bit though to do something like that.
Oh,
Um,
you're just saying like a device to kind of like assist.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a there's a device for that which allows you to use any controller on any console, but it's like, fuck. I'd rather just be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. But I mean, you could do it on your PC.
Yeah, I know I can. That's partially why I play on PC so much
Yeah.
because
Um,
I can just do that.
yeah. What other thoughts do you have on this?
Oh yeah, here's another one. So this one I found pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, my brain just stopped working. Give me a second. It's not about this, but it's about something else that I guess came alongside this revelation, this sort of thing
Uh-huh.
that was going down. The Xbox just randomly announced a developers conference on the 12th.
It's the 18th.
I thought it was the 12th.
I literally just got the email.
Oh, okay.
I was
Actually,
looking at it just before we got on, but I mean, I think I still have it open. Where did it go? Yeah, January 18th.
oh, okay. It was on the
12
12th.
p.m.
Something.
Pacific time, which would
There it
mean
is.
it
Yep.
is,
3 p.m.
uh,
Eastern Standard Time.
yep. So maybe that's where the
Yeah.
12 came from.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. The 12 Pacific. Yeah, that's definitely it. But yeah, that's another like thing to look at. People are like Microsoft's going to fail, they're doing awful, they're garbage, they're going to become third party and then it's like, all right, well, here's our developers conference of all our first party games that we're going to be showing off. It's like, do you not like think before you speak? Like I don't get it.
No,
I just don't get
people
it.
are just I don't know. I think they like the drama and they like
Hmm.
the world is ending kind of chicken little shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm sure. And this will be Microsoft. I'm sure they're going to go out there and be like, "Everything's fine, y'all. Look at this." So, yeah, don't get all excited. I mean, I expect that this will be a kind of a big thing for Microsoft this year. I kind of feel like they've had enough time in the oven with a lot of their studios that you would think there'd be kind of a lot of things coming to be ready in the pipeline. But
I mean,
I
there's
know.
gotta be, right? Because when you think about it, it's like they have all these studios and they've had all these studios for quite a while now. Where are the games? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, Hellblade's a definite. We know that will be kind
Hellblade,
of.
Hellblade's happening. I don't feel like, and you can quote me on this one. I don't feel like Hellblade will be able to be a Game of the Year contender.
Well, supposedly Microsoft's internal reviewers have been giving it 9.3. And that is their guess as to where it will Metacritic out.
So not a contender then.
I mean, it'll be a very good game. So,
Yeah. Oh,
mhm.
I mean, I don't give a fuck either way. I'm just like, huh.
You figure 9.3 Metacritic means it's probably going to get a few tens. You'd think, who knows? Which if they're going to be really good, websites or whatever. But
Hmm.
you never know. I mean, those kind of like internal reviews are always kind of like, we'll see what happens. At least gives them an idea that like at least we know the game will be good. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Then
I'm sure.
again, there's many games that have like tens, and I'm just like, this is like a six at best.
I'm
You
curious what
know what
the
I mean?
yes. I'm curious what the internal reviews were like for Starfield. Where they're like, oh no, this game is not good. I don't know. Get that shit out of here.
That's I feel like I mean, that's what happened with Redfall. Redfall was like, this game sucks, and we don't want to make it. And then Microsoft was like, put it out, and they're like, oh shit, okay, fine, fuck it. Here's some garbage.
Yeah, it's probably just like what they were doing, like kind of other things like WB or not WB, HBO or whatever. Like,
Hmm.
all right, let's just get it out, roll right off the loss, and move on.
The WB would have been a good one because you gotta think of like all their DC properties. They're like, here you go, we made it, and they're like, what did you make? It. It's just like a garbage, like 5 out of 10 DC movie, which sucks because they have so many good properties and they never make anything good.
no, no, they do not, which is too bad. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting. That company's a whole different mess.
Yeah. Oh, you have you
uh,
seen the thing from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
uh-uh.
Oh my God. Someone showed a video of the UI. And you know that like meme image that was posted like last year or 2 years ago for Elden Ring, where it was like if Ubisoft made Elden Ring and it had like all the fucking map markers and all the shit just cluttering everything and it looked like absolute dog shit.
Vaguely.
Oh fuck. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna get you a picture of the Suicide Squad.
Okay.
It is awful. All right, let's see if I can find it. Ah, shit. Sorry for having you wait, but I gotta get. Oh yeah, I've got some now. Okay, here we go. So I'm just gonna post these for you so you can see them. They're really bad. Like, I don't even know how their QA team was like, "Yep, send it out."
The fuck is going on?
These are like the UI for this game. There's like never a point in time where something isn't happening in the UI.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too much going on. I don't like this dude.
Here's the meme image I was talking about before. Also, this is if Ubisoft made Elden Ring, and if you look at the actual UI for Suicide Squad: Tell the Justice League, it looks like that meme image. It is very bad. I don't
Oh yeah.
understand who thought this was like a good idea. Hey, here's another one. This one's not as good of an image, but like there you go. That's what the game looks like when you're playing it. Look at this. What is this? What the fuck is this?
Yeah. I don't know what they're thinking with this one.
And then IGN was like, "Yeah, we don't like this game. It's bad."
Trying to
Oh yeah,
understand.
actually, they literally put, "We've played multiple hours of Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, and we did not like it." That is actually like a line that they put as a headline for a game.
Oh, well, at least they're honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right?
Yeah. Um,
I left the preview event less optimistic than when I came in.
oh, impressive. I mean,
To
that's
give you a
always
taste of what we were looking at, there are weapon afflictions that attach an elemental effect to a weapon like Deep Freeze that then does cold damage, but only for a period of time. Penguin will let you craft new weapons, shield mods, traversal mods, or grenades, and there's some interesting guns here like Bugs a Poppin' that will not do damage to a Terminaut, but will slow down every enemy within 10 meters. Each character also has a skill tree they can upgrade, and all of that is on top of weapons and mods that work together to give you passive buffs when you pair, say, two gizmo gear pieces together to do more burning damage, but with a trade-off that grenades now do 50% less damage, but have a 100% chance to burn all enemies that are hit with them. That's the kind of ridiculous micromanaging that you have to do to play the game.
yeah. No thanks.
That just doesn't sound fun. That just sounds stupid.
No.
And then
That
like
does not.
that coupled together with how bad these screenshots look. And I've seen the video now too. It looks really bad. Uh like what the fuck were they thinking?
Probably thinking that we're too deep into this now to back out. We gotta make something that's not Redfall.
Uh
So
Not Redfall? I don't know, man. I saw the screenshots. This is looking pretty Redfall to me.
not Redfall. That's their bar. They're realistically their goal is probably like let's just make something decent that people will initially play that we can build upon and fix as time goes on. But
Fuck off with that. I'm tired of the as time goes on bullshit.
I know the good old days of let's make games that are nearly feature complete when they're ready to release.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like I said, we'll see a bunch of this. We'll see a lot more Microsoft's direction with their developers conference, a little more than a week. So we'll have that to look forward to. Nintendo Direct should be around the corner too. Really?
That's true. Apparently, Sony supposedly is going to do their state of play.
Yeah, there's been squawking about both things. Actually, all three the last couple days. Microsoft, whatever, which was now announced. Nintendo Direct, which even if people have heard rumblings, it's always predictable that Nintendo will have something either. Well, usually it's February. That something's coming there. So you really don't need like investigative like resources to figure it out. They've been doing it for like the last 10 years. So very predictable. And I would guess it's probably actually going to be a pretty decent show for them since there's Nintendo only has one game announced right now that's not a port. So I would actually expect that this Nintendo Direct should be kind of a decent
Well, isn't Paper Mario a remake and not a port?
port remake, same thing.
No, it's not. Those are
Um,
two totally different things, good sir.
I know, but I think this is probably. I guess it depends on where you kind of put things. I mean, obviously it's an up-res and it has some graphical overhaul. So
It's a complete remake of the game, just like Mario RPG was.
I
Are
think
you guys?
this is less remake than Mario RPG. I would think.
What the fuck?
That I would say so. Don't what the fuck? It's clear from the video we've seen.
What?
This is literally just a nicer looking Paper Mario so far. We've not seen any new features. We've not seen any new content.
That
Nothing.
doesn't make it not a remake.
It doesn't make it not a remake, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a super port either.
I wouldn't say it's a port. I would say maybe a remaster, but
Or a remaster. Like I mean,
ports and remasters are totally different things, good sir.
I know, but this seems like this is more like uh, uh like a graphically updated remaster as opposed to a remake. That's where I'm sitting on the fence with it. So
Where would it? How would a remake even look? Like
how would I identify like a remake with
of
what we've
Paper
seen so
Mario,
far?
of Paper Mario. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like let's say we were looking at something, say like the Mario RPG remake.
Yeah.
You were able to differentiate that from the other one because of new content. We've not seen anything that really points to new content or any changes or anything like that so far. All we've seen so far is, basically the same thing with some tweaked localization. and nicer looking graphics.
What? I, then is Dead Space not a remake?
Mm,
Shut the fuck up. You're not about to sit here and tell me Dead Space remake is not a remake.
no, it is a remake because it's different. Dead Space gives you the ability, like the new one gives you the ability, like the whole ship's open at one point. You can go from front to end if you really want to walk the whole way.
Yeah, because you couldn't in the other one because of the fucking loading screen, the like
Exactly.
loading shit.
It was different.
That doesn't make it not a. Oh.
No, it does make it a remake because it's features that weren't available in the original game. And there's new content there too. Like the boss battles are different.
Yeah, that's true. They did rework those.
Yeah. Listen, Paper Mario, as far as we know right now, I'm not saying it won't be a remake. I'm just saying, as far as we know right now, Paper Mario seems more like it is in the remaster category than the remake category.
Okay. All right.
It's not bad.
If you use the term remaster, I'll give you that. If you use the term port, you're just fucking wrong.
No, it's definitely not a port.
Port is like just taking the old game and just here you go, have it again. You know, that's not what we're getting even from what we've already seen.
No, it's not. It's not a port. That was a poor choice of words on my part. But it is definitely, as far as we know right now, no more than a remaster.
Okay, so. I'll give you that. As far as we know right now, no more than a remaster is a fine choice of words.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess so. I guess what I'm boiling it down to though is of the 5 games that Nintendo has announced this year, 4 of them have appeared on other platforms in some capacity. So they do have a lot that they potentially could show off.
That's true.
Honestly, I think it's probably. I think my kind of thinking is probably what's going to be is, we'll see Nintendo Direct. I think Paper Mario will be an early 2024 title. It actually just got rated by the ESRB.
Yeah, I actually think it'll be out around March.
Yeah, I think it's going to fall out sometime this year. Or sorry, obviously this year, sometime in this
next 3 months, 4 months, somewhere in there.
Winter, spring time.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, or maybe April, somewhere like that. Because I mean, what do we know already? Trace Memory and Mario versus Donkey Kong are either early this month or next month, right? Did they?
Maybe. I mean, we got the Princess Peach game.
Princess Peach is March, I think. But then you have Luigi's Mansion, which is in the summer for whatever reason.
Yeah, that one's weird. Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen, Nintendo Direct, like usual, they'll set up. I think that they'll do. We'll see all these 5 games again. We'll see. I think that they will announce Switch 2, and they will announce whatever they're I don't know. I guess I'm 50-50.
Switch 2 will be out by the end of the year, or do you think it'll be next year?
It's on the bold predictions, Brandon. It's on the bold predictions.
For this year.
What did I write? Switch successor will come out in 2024. I wrote it in blood on November 21st, 2023.
All right.
I'm not swaying from this opinion. It is coming out this year.
I do not think so. It'll be.
It's 100%. It's coming out this year.
First quarter 2025, around March.
Nope. It's going to be a holiday system.
It's not.
It's going to be a holiday system. I think what's going to happen is it'll get announced in the next Direct, and they will. But then it's going to be one of those roundabout announcements where they announce an announcement. They're going to be like, "Hey, next system's coming out. We'll tell you more about it soon." And then
here's the announcement for an announcement.
It's literally what I almost would bet that's what they will do. They will announce the announcement, but it will be in this first Direct because they're not going to wait until June or whatever to do it. Yeah. They're going to be like, it's coming, and stay tuned. And then I think probably in kind of mid to late spring is when they'll do the full unveiling of it with titles and stuff. They might show off their flagship title during this Direct, but I'm not even so sure of that. I guess it depends on how much just Switch stuff they have to show off. Because my guess is I would bet that this Direct will be the final Switch Direct, Switch only. They'll unload the rest of the Switch only games and be here's the rest of the Switch games to expect. Switch 2 is coming, and we'll be announcing that. And then, they might show off maybe, like I said, maybe a title or a crossover title. if they have a crossover title, I think it'd be more likely where they'd be like, "Hey, Metroid Prime 4 is coming to Switch and Switch 2." Something like that, and then maybe save like Mario or whatever, for when they officially unveil it. But that's kind of where I'm thinking. I think that this is going to be kind of the big thing this year. So, but like I said, I am 120% sure that it's coming out this year. Very sure of it. So I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll find out eventually.
We will definitively know
in
356 days or less. But what, you think they're just going to claw the Switch out for another year?
Yeah.
I don't think they can. I mean, I think they could. There's nothing stopping them. But I think the writing's on the wall, and I know I said this at some point last year, but I think once I realized that all they have left is
the last Switch year before we go into whatever is next. I think it's substantially more than you think it is, and that it will come out in first quarter 2025. It will be announced in like the midpoint of this year, and then it will have pre-orders open around like a month later or so. That's what I think will happen.
Well, if they're going to do it at the beginning of next year, I think that they would do it like they did with the Switch, where they announce it in like officially October, and they'll be like, it's coming out in March. I think they would follow that same blueprint. But like I said, I think with the fact that they have like absolutely no announced Switch titles that are like new or interesting, I think that's just them being like, yeah, we've already moved all of our resources.
Yeah, I think the reason why they have none that are new or interesting is because it's not going to be until next year that we actually get the next Switch. And that's why we're going to have the hype bullshit where we explain what it is, how it is going to exist, how it's a new console and you have to buy it and you can't just play it on your current Switch, so they don't make the same fucking mistake as the Wii U. And that these are the games that will be coming to it. This will be how it runs. This will be what it does. I think that'll be in the winter, and then I think it will exist next year. Like all that will be its own direct that it will have for the console itself. We'll have the console announced, or announcement for the announcement, like you said. The announcement for the announcement will be soon. The announcement of it will then come up, and then the in-depth look will be later this year after the pre-orders have already gone through, and we'll also get some game announcements for what you can, like, what games you can expect in the future for this new console. That's what's going to happen. And then it comes out next year, in the first quarter.
Yeah. I guess the really only difference there is when it comes out. I think it's going to be this year, though. I mean, you think about it last year, I guess Mario Wonder was there, but really, like, the last half of the year, they were kind of like, here's our flagship. Well, I mean, I said Mario Wonder was October, but they're kind of like flagship in November game was a remake. So, we'll find out. What else? Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless you want to like guess what might be shown at the Xbox thing.
No, I don't.
I don't either. I don't care.
Yep, neither do I.
We'll find out when it happens.
Yep, and I don't think you'd be able to predict it anyways because Microsoft is so... We have no fucking clue what's going on inside that company right now. So
it's a mess.
Yeah. All right. You ready to wrap up then?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Wow. Thank you everyone for listening to us today. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. So we also have the website game-crunch.com where you can check out all our episodes. And if you want to reach out to us, send us an email, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon?
Yep.
Final thoughts?
Nope. I don't have any.
Right.
See ya.
Well, that's it. I'm Mike Anastasia. Find me online. I'm Clash Penguin. There or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on. Hello.
Hello.
I am back. Well, I'm here now. What did you play this week?
Jackbox.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, Robocop for me, basically.
Robocop. No way. Ugh.
I guess I played some Raft.
So what?
Raft.
Raft.
Yep.
I don't know Raft.
Well, I know you didn't play it.
I don't know it. What is it?
I'll
Why are you
tell you
talking
during
about it?
the podcast, I guess.
Okay.